As far as North London derbies go, that was pretty perfect. Eberechi Eze, the boyhood Arsenal fan, scoring a hat-trick as Arsenal win 4-1 at the Emirates against their hated rivals. What an afternoon. What an afternoon. I couldn't be happier, and I couldn't be happier to sit here and talk to you this fine Monday morning about the game. This is the Arsenal Match Reaction Show, and this is my review of Arsenal 4, Tottenham 1. A fantastic performance from Arsenal. Please make sure, if you enjoy this video, leave it a like if you're on YouTube, and go and leave a review if you're on audio platforms. A 5-star review really helps me out and helps us grow. But let's get into it, because I want to talk about the game, and I know what you're thinking. Let's get straight on to Eberechi Eze, but I want to quickly talk about the game in general before I speak about individual players. On the screen now, if you're watching on YouTube, or I will describe it to you on audio platforms, is the tifo that was unveiled at the start of the game. You will remember last year, the tifo in the Champions League that was so disappointing. For that PSG game, it was just a cannon logo. Look at where we are right now. The club has listened. The club gets it. The club understands what this fixture means to us all. And you can see on the screen the tifo that features Sol Campbell, Thierry Henry, Tony Adams, Rocastle from the past, and Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel from the future. Well, the future from now, really. You can't see it really at the bottom. It's obscured by the goal and some of the players, but it says the streets are our own at the bottom. A line from North London forever, and it certainly felt like yesterday's game was the start of a really important week in Arsenal's season. Tottenham at home, Bayern Munich at home in the Champions League, Chelsea away. So that is the North London derby, the top two in the Champions League, and then the top two in the Premier League, all playing each other. And I think this game was an opportunity to start that week strong, to come on to what is a real test for Arsenal. We've been tested a lot already this season with those runs of Newcastle, Manchester City, Liverpool, Old Trafford in the early stages, and now this. You know, it's a really difficult run, and if we got off to a bad start, even if we got off to just an okay start, I think it might have felt a little bit more worrying as we go through the week. But to do what we did yesterday and leave Spurs limited to one of their worst attacking performances, I should say, and worst defensive, to be fair, in 10 years, from a statistics point of view, it was one of their worst attacking performances in 10 years. I'm sure you've seen that Sky Sports graphic. It was a fantastic way to start the week. And of course, it leaves us 6 points clear at the top of the table, with an opportunity to potentially go 7 points clear, maybe even 9 if Manchester City don't get a result. So not only was this the North London derby, not only was this a really, really important game, as it is every season because it's Spurs, but it was a fantastically important game from a points perspective, our season perspective, starting this week off really, really strong. And a player who started off so strong in this game was Leandro Trossard. I want to talk about 3 Arsenal players in particular: Leandro Trossard, Mikel Arteta, and of course Eberechi Eze, because I thought they were the best 3 players of the day. And Leandro Trossard was just a joy to behold in this game. I think he is having his best season in Arsenal colours, quite comfortably, actually. He's scoring a lot of goals, assisting a lot of goals. I think he leads in all competitions, the goals and assists charts. He is pushing harder than I have ever seen him push in an Arsenal shirt. This is a player who is desperate to win the Premier League. You can see it all over his face. He got that raise in the summer. Everyone questioned it. I even thought maybe he could go. I'm sure, like a lot of people, we were looking at that left wing spot with Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, Eze and Noni Madueke joining us. Maybe made us think one of those players could go. We could get some money back. We could prepare ourselves to go again in the next summer, or maybe even the January window, by selling either of those players. Gabriel Martinelli has absolutely showed up this year, but this man, Leandro Trossard, has showed up extra, and he was brilliant yesterday. He is there doing his celebration, the goggles that he does for his daughter, but the man behind him, Mikel Arteta, provided a sumptuous pass. I mean, this game was dominated by Arsenal for basically 80 minutes of the game, apart from the Tottenham goal, which, look, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but credit to Richarlison. What a finish that was. Zubimendi, don't know what he's doing. It's a terrible mistake. However, there was still so much for Richarlison to do, and it's perfect. So give them their due there. But yeah, we dominated this game for basically 80, 85 minutes. And Mikel Marino was a big part of that. Leandro Trossard was a big part of that. And this first goal that came around the 30, 35 minute mark, Mikel Marino's pass. I mean, the people who called this man a defensive midfielder earlier in the season, run and hide. Go and delete your tweets. Go and delete your videos because you got it so wrong. You got it so wrong. That is the pass of a cultured number 10. I'm telling you, if Martin Odegaard does that, if Phil Foden does that, if any of the Cole Palmer, any of the number 10s that are across the Premier League do that, I'm telling you, we talk about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Mikel Marino does it, and it was almost secondary to a brilliant Leandro Trossard touch and brilliant turn and finish. Bit lucky with the deflection. I'm sure there will be people arguing out there today that Arsenal got a couple of deflections. A couple of things went their way, but we have screamed at Arsenal for years. Just take these shots on. Just try it, because you just never know. And yesterday, all of those deflections went in our way. The hit from the edge of the area is a really powerful tool, and it was really effective for us yesterday. It's a fantastic pass from Mikel Marino. Leandro Trossard's touch is brilliant, and he is playing like a player who deserves a goal in a North London derby. He is really, really giving it his all. He assisted, of course, the final goal. So in a goal and an assist in a North London derby, Eze will, rightly, he will steal the headlines. But I wanted to give this man, Leandro Trossard, his flowers before we talk about the main man, and let's come on to him, because I've buried the lead plenty long enough already. Eberechi Eze, boyhood Arsenal fan, returns to the club that let him go. Made that one phone call to Mikel Arteta just in case, before he was off on his way to Tottenham, just in case there was a chance he could play for Arsenal. Kai Havertz injured on the very same day. Some people say that was a big factor. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But that phone call has changed the course of this man's life. And you can see him on the screen right now. Eberechi Eze celebrating one of his 3 goals yesterday. The interviewer after the game asked him, could you have ever dreamt of that? It's something Arsenal fans would dream to do. All of the 60,000 fans around you would dream of doing what you've just done. How does it feel? And he said, no, I couldn't have even dreamed for it. It was out of his dreams to score a hat-trick against Spurs in his very first North London derby. The first Arsenal player to do that. The first player, Arsenal or Tottenham, to do that in a North London derby since 1978, Alan Sunderland. The first Premier League North London derby hat-trick ever. What an amazing achievement that is. When you think of Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Aubameyang, all of these players that have come before and shown up in these games. Eze is the first one to do the hat-trick, and what a way he did it. Obviously, all the goals are actually quite similar. You'll see on a heat map I'm going to show you later, he was very, very forward, and he played basically as a second striker. All of his goals came from right on the edge of the area. The first one, obviously, he dribbles through a couple, manages to find his way through and shoots through the goalkeeper. The second one is that brilliant left foot strike. I think that's the pick of the bunch, to be honest, in terms of a finish. And then the third one, we're counter-attacking. Leandro Trossard squares the ball. He takes a moment, allows Udogie to fall over, slip, slide tackle. Not really sure what happened there. And then he just caresses it past Vicario. Vicario was no match for him all day long. I saw Vicario moaning about the players obstructing his view, but he got a hand to it, I think. So I'm really struggling to see how it obstructed your view and you got a hand to it. That's a very difficult thing to argue. I think that's really, really silly from him. Probably just makes him look bitter. To be fair, he did say it wasn't why they lost, but Eze has really added something, I think, to this team. And if you would indulge me, let's just go on a little bit of a journey here, because I've spoken before about the difference between Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze. I don't think it's that one of them is a distinct 10 and one of them is not. What Martin Odegaard is an 8 or a more traditional midfielder. I don't think it is like that. I think it is that Eberechi Eze stands in the 10 and receives in the 10. And his game is all about finishing, last action, whereas Martin Odegaard arrives in the 10 and he is the passer. He is the lock unpicker. It's a slightly different way of playing. But what was really interesting to me yesterday is that we found a way to free Eberechi Eze up. And I'll come on to that tactically in a moment. But when he was freed up, he had all this space in the world to do what he does, and he got 3 goals out of it. Martin Odegaard is never really freed up in the 10 role. And my thought is now, if we can get these 2 players in the same team, potentially Eze off the left drifting into the 10, and Martin Odegaard coming from the 8, arriving in the 10. You see what Eze did yesterday. Teams had to pay attention to Bukayo Saka and Mikel Merino because of how we played yesterday. Think about what it will be like when they've got to pay attention to Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka and Eberechi Eze. And maybe a Leandro Trossard off the bench. And a Noni Madueke off the bench. Like, we did this yesterday. We platformed Eze to get a hat-trick without so many of our key stars. I spoke in the preview that I thought Mikel Merino might struggle physically against Romero, Van de Ven, because physically they're just faster, better than him. But he was so clever and drifted out wide, and it meant that he wasn't in a physical battle with them. They were kind of then shoved over, and it gave Eze the space to operate. The midfielders had to go with him. They had to go and deal with Timber, Saka, Merino on that right-hand side. Eze freed up in the middle and was able to do it. And I just think, if we can do that with Mikel Merino up front, imagine how we'll do with Kai Havertz and his culture, his craft. Imagine how we'll do when Martin Odegaard is slipping balls into Eze, and we're not, because a couple of them, they arrived kind of roughly to Eze, and he managed to deal with them. A couple of kind of weird passes that came flying in at him that his control and his ability managed to deal with, And to be fair to Eze, he probably could have had more. He had a really good chance after the hat-trick, and he also was creator for the first chance of the game. A just brilliant performance, a dream come true for Eberechi Eze, and tactically perfect from Mikel Arteta. Let's talk about those tactics in a little bit more detail, and I just want to visually show you what I'm talking about on YouTube. If you're on audio platforms, I will describe it to you. Here you can see Mikel Merino and Eze hugging, and the reason I put this on is exactly the discussion that I've just spoken about. On the heat map, on the right-hand side, you can see Mikel Merino is tucked over a little bit towards our right, and a lot of his touches on the heat map are on the right-hand side as well. You can see Eberechi Eze there, as I said, number 10, but almost playing as a shadow striker, the next man into the box as Mikel Merino vacates. And you can see Leandro Trossard playing really, really high wide and left. So we created this combination with Timber, Saka, Merino on the right-hand side. Like I say, Trossard stayed high and wide, which gave them a problem on that side. And of course, he scores the first goal, and Eze through the middle gives them another problem. Absolutely fantastic tactical plan from Mikel Arteta. I really don't think you could fault it. What Tottenham did was embarrassing, just flat out embarrassing. To turn up at your hated rivals, it's one of their biggest games of the year. To turn up and not put a single player on the pitch who can play with the ball, who can pass. They came for a scrap, and I posted this on Blue Sky. Follow me on Blue Sky if you don't already. They came for a scrap and didn't focus at all on what they were going to do with the ball. And that is a terrible idea to do against a team that is the best team at scrapping there is in the Premier League. Come for a fight with Arsenal, you won't walk away a winner. And a team that suffocates other teams when they don't have the ball, to not have a single player who was interested in passing and playing, it was embarrassing. They tried to launch it into our defensive, into our penalty box from so many free kicks, and forgot that we had Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, Piero Hincapié, William Saliba, Calafiori, Timber. We had giants of our own. You can throw Kevin Danso all you want. You can throw him up there all you want, Thomas Frank. It wasn't going to make any bloody difference, frankly. It was an embarrassing tactical plan, and I thought Thomas Frank really let himself down. Our tactical plan from Mikel Arteta was brilliant, perfect. Didn't want to go through the middle where Tottenham had crowded it, drew them over to the right-hand side with Mikel Merino, Bukayo Saka, Urian Timber, left that space for Leandro Trossard, Eberechi Eze, and boy, did they feast on that space. There are 5 players on the screen right now. We have Piero Hincapié and William Saliba, who are our centre-backs on the day, Ricardo Calafiori and Urian Timber, who are our full-backs, and Declan Rice. I would have got a picture of Martin Zubimendi in the screen as well, if I could have done, because I want to give a shout-out to these guys, but the whole team as well, I guess. It's the second game in this Premier League season where we've not allowed a shot in the first half of a game. It is an incredibly low XG performance from Tottenham. And bear in mind, Tottenham are a team that are competing in the Champions League with Champions League funding, who won a trophy last year. They are a team with resource. And at half-time, they were 2-0 down, took off a centre-back, brought on their replacement for Eberechi Eze, because they obviously didn't get him, and brought on a £50 million attacker to add to Mohamed Kudus, who I think was about 60, to add to Richarlison, who was 50. They added these players in and went for it and still got absolutely no change out of our defence. We defend as a team, and we do brilliantly at it. All of the players, I could have put all of the players on this screen, but I think these guys in particular deserve a shout out. Jurrien Timber, for me, is the best fullback in this country, without a doubt. And I'm going right and left back at the moment. The boy is playing out of his mind. Defensively, he doesn't put a foot wrong. And offensively, he has really, really stepped it up this year. Shout out as well to Riccardo Calafiori. In games when we need him to go hunting in the attacking third, he'll just go and do that. And he is a Rolls Royce at doing that. But this year, his defensive contributions have improved so much. It's almost the completely different story for the two fullbacks. Jurrien Timber was defensively perfect and has added an attacking threat to his game, whereas Riccardo Calafiori was so brilliant going forward. He's added that defensive solidity. Saliba, we know all about him. Declan Rice, we know all about him. Another brilliant performance and an assist for him today. But Pierre Nkapie didn't have much to do. I will say that. He did not have much to do. But what he did very, very well. I picked Mosquera. I'm still very confident that while Gabriel is out, we're going to see a lot of Mosquera at centre-back. I'm really, really confident of that. But I do also believe in the point that I made in that preview episode about, I think Arteta likes his partnerships. And I think what we will see for the rest of this week is a William Saliba, Piero Hincapié partnership. Mosquera will not be coming in for these games. I just can't see it. Hincapié did leave, looked like he was limping a little bit, so that might change that point, of course. However, I think we will see this as a partnership going forward. So really, really interesting how he played and his partnership with Saliba. So shout out to the defence. This is it. This is the league table. We are 6 points clear of Chelsea, obviously playing them next Sunday. A massive game. A huge game. Chelsea will look at what's happened to Manchester City, what's happened to Liverpool. They'll look at Tottenham and Manchester United being way off the pace. They'll look at Newcastle being way, way, way off the pace. And they will think, we are the team that can go head-to-head with Arsenal this year. It could be us. And it will be a statement victory for Arsenal if we can stop them doing that. Obviously, we are away, and it will be at the end of a very challenging week. The North London derby, Bayern Munich, not easy games, emotional games, both of them for Arsenal and the players. So it won't be easy for us, but we are a better team than Chelsea. Their defence can really be got at, and I think if we execute a tactical plan like we did in the North London derby, Chelsea won't stand a chance. They won't stand a chance. That would give us the opportunity to go maybe 9 points clear. More likely 7, because Manchester City, I think, will get a result and a victory against Leeds. I think they are at home in that game as well, so that's almost certain, really. That could put us 7 points clear, 13 games in. A really strong position, And I just want to close on this, guys. Thank you so much for listening and following. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure, like I said at the start, you hit like on YouTube. Maybe go and subscribe while you're down there. And on audio platforms, leave a review and hit follow wherever you get your podcasts from, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It all really helps. I'm trying to grow this podcast again and really get it out to the masses. Final thought, like I said, it's too early to say whether we're going to be champions or not. It's too early to say if we will go to the Champions League final and maybe win it. It's too early to say what will happen this season. But what I can say is there is no question about this team. They have dealt with the start of a very, very challenging week in an absolutely perfect manner. Eberechi Eze stepped up to become the superstar that he is destined to be. Okay? And whatever happens, enjoy right now. Enjoy moments like this. Don't be dragged into narratives. My group chat are already sending me messages about, it's Arsenal's to lose now. It'd be embarrassing if they blow it. They're trying to stir up the narratives. My mates are doing it. The media are doing it. Everyone wants us to fail. But don't think about that too much right now. Enjoy the moments. Enjoy beating Spurs 4-1 and a perfectly executed tactical plan and a boyhood, academy player, a boyhood fan coming home for his first North London derby and battering the Spurs with a hat-trick. Enjoy all of those things while they're here, because football is too temporary. And trophies are important. We want to win. I'm really confident we will win something with Mikel Arteta, and soon, hopefully this season. But if you can't enjoy the right now, it's going to be really, really difficult for you to be a football fan. So please enjoy it. Please make sure you consume all the Eberechi Eze content that you can this week and enjoy all the podcasts that you listen to. I'm really looking forward to that, and I can't wait for the Bayern game. Thank you so much for following. Thank you for listening. Up the Arsenal. North London is red.